Welcome, everybody, to the Mission Employable podcast, where we're talking all things workforce across the state of Iowa. Today's show is all about putting your best foot forward and helping you step into the new year to find a new career and new opportunities. Kathy Leggett is here with me, as always. Kathy, how's your weekend?
It was great. Just happy to be here. Looking forward to hearing what Jennifer has to say. And just have to say, my Packers weren't in the football game. So
Jennifer was saying that
I'm just, so the weekend was okay.
Yeah, Jennifer on her way up. Jennifer DiOrio's here. She is a career planner with IowaWORKS. She was here telling me that she's a 49ers fan, and our hearts go out to her and Brock Purdy and everybody. We're sorry.
Yeah.
That was rough.
That was some Iowa ties there, though. So that's
there always
kind of
is.
fun.
There's always an Iowa angle. When I was in the news world, that's what they said. There's always an Iowa angle.
That's
and
right.
Yep,
I tell you what, there is.
I told my son I may not see this very often in the future, but today a lot of Iowa football fans are 49er fans. And this is pretty cool.
That's true.
Cool.
Yeah.
It was maybe next year.
Yeah.
Except the fact that the Baltimore Ravens are going to win the whole thing next year. Sorry to spoil everybody's.
We'll see. We'll see when it rolls around.
Long discussion about that.
Oh man. Well, anyway, let's getting back on track. Jennifer, you're here to talk about some of the opportunities that are available for people at IowaWORKS and some of the career services that they have available for us. So why don't you just start off by talking about your role as a career planner?
Well, I'm a lead career planner, so I help a lot of our Wagner-Pizer staff. It's our funding source, so that's what we are referred to as Wagner-Pizer staff. We are there to either help you in the right direction on how to find work, how to apply for unemployment, or if we are not able to do that, we can get you referred to a partner agency that can help with additional goals.
That's right. And so when someone comes into an IowaWORKS office and they're looking for a career or they're looking to start on a new career path, what kind of services are available to them?
Well, to begin with, we advise that they get a membership in IowaWORKS.gov. That's our web-based system that we use. And it helps us keep track of the things that we've discussed with individuals and what they've been involved with. Kind of helps us if we're going to meet with them more than once or twice. And also, we advise that they meet with a career services person. What this individual will do is sit down with them one-on-one, ask questions that are associated with their education, their employment history, and what kind of job are they looking for. We have individuals that are coming in that have been doing the same kind of work for 20 years. They come in and say, I know I don't want to do what I've been doing, but I want to do something else. I just don't know what that something else is. So we actually have a lot of different areas that we can figure out. We have what's called an interest profiler. And it's a question-based, do you like doing this? At what level would you enjoy doing this? And what it does, it breaks them down into different categories, like investigative. Well, there's a lot of different jobs that are associated with that. We can go even further in the weeds with talking about labor market information, what type of pay is expected in the area you're looking for. It's a great tool, and there's a lot of aha moments with individuals that do that, so that kind of helps us guide them in the direction that they want to go.
It sounds like you have really comprehensive services for anyone, like from a younger person who's just like, oh, I need to get a job, I don't know where to start, to, like you said, somebody who's been in the workforce for a long time and is just like, I want to do something different. It sounds like they could even just come and explore with somebody what those options are. Is that right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not something where you have to have an appointment, but let me also state that this is something we can do virtually. All they need to do is go into our calendar in IowaWORKS, and they can sign up for a virtual appointment, and they can meet with somebody on that basis.
That's great.
Yes.
Do they have to, when you said sign into the IowaWORKS system or create a profile, would you recommend that for anybody who wants to start investigating this? That's step number one.
I think anybody that is making a decision to switch careers, somebody that has found themselves unemployed, I think it's very useful for any situation that you may have that is career related. We have something in there that's called a virtual recruiter. Virtual recruiter, you can set up perimeters. What area do you want to work in? What kind of pay are you looking for? And what we do is it scrapes different websites and our website for those positions. And we can set it up to where that virtual recruiter will run it, email the individual, or text them, whatever they decide how they want to receive that information. And it will text them any new jobs that have been uploaded and how to apply for those jobs. That is an amazing tool we have available.
Yeah, and I want to reiterate for anyone who's listening that all of these services, whether it's an in-person appointment or a mock interview or using some of these tools online, it's all free. It's all at no cost to them.
Everything's at no cost. And it's at no cost with our partner agencies, too. So we're definitely there to support you in whatever needs you may have.
Yeah, it's a wealth of resources, and it seems like I just want to emphasize for people there's something there for anyone. I think just who has general questions or is looking at, like you said, the labor market information. What's going to grow? What's what do the outcomes look like, or do the outlooks look like for the future? I think it's hard to put into words what people can access through the career planners in Iowa Works.
Yes, it is so exciting to see the growth with individuals that we're working with. And usually somebody that comes into our office will have 2 or 3 people that are their champion, that are doing everything they can to direct and help this individual. And their goals that they're meeting.
Yep.
We are celebrating those with them.
And we can all use somebody to be a
Yes.
champion for us
Yes.
when we're trying to do things that are hard.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that come in that have a lot of barriers, and we have been trained on how to approach those barriers, how to work with. We have second chance employees that are coming in. We have transitioning veterans. We have veterans that are disabled. And we have representatives that work directly with those that are meeting those significant barriers to employment. Any type walk of life that comes into our office, we are prepared to work with that individual. Refugees, we work with a lot of refugees. It's a place to be proud of, to work for.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now, something I was curious about is that, they always say new year, new you, that kind of thing. Is the start of the year a good time to be looking for employment with, the first, quarter rolling around?
Honestly, it depends on the type of work that you are looking at. If you are somebody that has been working for an employer that does temporary layoffs every season, you're having to file for unemployment every year. And as we know, a lot of the requirements for unemployment have gone up. And so with those individuals that come in with a temporary layoff, we try having those conversations with them. It's like, we have a lot of employers that are looking for year-round employment. Is this something you'd be interested in? And then we start those conversations on how they can move forward.
Are there any trends that you've seen in interviewing or resume building, as time changes? I mean, from my perspective, obviously I've been around a long time, and it was the major paper resume, do you have all these right things on it? And then after I'd worked someplace for 20 years and was looking for another job, it was like a video interview or download this thing, and that was completely different and new. So I'm just curious if there are trends that you're seeing right now.
A lot of the trends that I'm seeing right now is virtual interviews.
Okay.
A lot of those interviews, especially for those companies that are out of state, we see a lot of companies that are looking for remote workers they don't care what state they live in. And so we're seeing a lot of that happening. And you can come to our office and do that there. We will give you a private room to do those virtual interviews if you do not have those resources. And
That's
we
great.
would encourage you to come in right before the interview so we can do a mock interview to kind of get you warmed up per se. And, like I said, we're going to be there with you every step of the way.
And some of those kind of do's and don'ts, I feel like, change a little bit when you're doing virtual interviews. I mean, instead of making sure that your pants don't have a stain on them, you got to make sure that your microphone works and that
Yes.
your internet connection isn't
Yes.
messed up. Or anything else that I missed there?
That you've dressed appropriately and not stand up if you don't have your PJ bottoms on.
It's a good one, yes.
Yeah, make your bed.
Yeah. Make sure your background's presentable. Those kinds of things. Yep.
Exactly. But as far as trends, that's the biggest one right now.
Yeah, and as far as if people, when they're applying, most of them are applying through some sort of digital form, right? It's no longer like handing in your one-pager with your GPA on top and
Right.
like all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Like, what are people looking for in those kind of like digital resumes?
They are looking for direct, concise information, because what I do when I teach our Create a Great Resume workshop, the first thing that I like to talk about is the job that they're applying for. Never, ever use the same resume to apply for a job. You will have a base resume that will have everything listed that you have done previously. Obviously, some of those tasks will not be required in the job that you're applying for, so I recommend cut and paste and build a new resume. Also, use the language that the employer is using, because what I use is Subway and Burger King. Burger King, you're applying for a cook position. Subway, you're applying for a sandwich artist position. It's basically the same position, but it's a different language that the employer's using. If you take that employer's language and use it in your resume, it makes them kind of pop out. They understand what you're trying to say, that you really looked at the position. Also, what a lot of people don't understand is that a lot of HR departments have a scanning program. And what it does, it scans a resume to see if they've used certain words, and if they reach a percentage of those words, the resume will be forwarded to the hiring manager. If you don't reach that percentage, it's probably going to get thrown away.
Yeah, that's really, really interesting.
Yes. Yes.
And aside from looking at their website for some of those keywords or phrases, is there anything else someone can do to make sure that they've got a higher percentage chance of getting some of those keywords picked out?
What you can do is you can actually go to the company website, look at their mission statement, look at what their values are. Try to incorporate those words and the things that you've done with past employers. If you're a veteran, make sure you're indicating on your resume that you're a veteran, because there are benefits to letting an employer know that, because you can get extra points in a grading system for being a veteran, or a disabled veteran even higher.
Those are awesome tips. I think I want to go back just a little bit to your mention of it needing to be concise, because that's a challenge for people. You want to share all your experience. How can you relate it to what the employer's looking for in the best light? Mm-hmm. And that's, again, where I want to just encourage people to use these services that are available, because I think you guys do this all the time, and you can help them with that.
Or if you've worked on a resume, email it to us. You can email it to our Des Moines website, and we'll take a look at it for you and say, this is a great resume, here's my recommendations. Or you come into our office, say, hey, I have my resume, is there anybody available to take a look at it? We'd be happy to do that with you.
That simple.
Yeah. And you go online to IowaWORKS.gov or IowaWorkforceDevelopment.gov. You look at the contact section, and you'll see a map of the state and where all these centers are located.
Yes.
And they're they're all over the state. And if there's one maybe not right in your town, it's probably one within 45 minutes of you.
Absolutely.
If you want to make the drive.
And also, if you can't make the drive, call that number that's associated with that office, and they will work with you in doing something over the phone or working with you virtually.
Yeah.
And can you talk a little bit, I think you maybe touched on it, but classes, because you said you teach a creative resume class, or something. What other type of classes are available to people to help build their skills for interviewing and getting that next job?
Well, first let me say all these workshops are virtual.
Okay.
So you can sign up at home and do it at home. We have Interview and Negotiate that talks about, the things that you should talk about in an interview. How to talk about salary expectations with an employer. That's a big thing right now,
That is a big
too.
one.
is employers will ask during an interview are, what are your expectations? We teach you how to answer that. We have conflict resolution. We have one that is essential tools, and what that does, it talks about all the services that we have associated with all of our AJCs. There's so many.
Yeah.
Bring your A game, working it out. You can go and look at a calendar that is online for the office that you are closest to, or even with the Des Moines office. If you're in Spencer area, can't get in, it doesn't matter what office you're in, you can sign up because it's statewide virtual.
Yeah. And we've been talking quite a bit about some of these services in kind of theory. I wanted to talk about it a little bit in practice and have you tell a success story or something like that where people can look at it and be like, oh, wow, this actually does work when you put it into practice.
All right. One of the examples that I like to use is I have been working with a gentleman, and he is a veteran. He has made some wrong choices in the past and has had to overcome a lot of things that he needed to change to make his life better. In order to get the verification and the benefits of being an employee, being a veteran, is you have to get a discharge paper, which is called the DD-214. He didn't have that, nor did he have his driver's license. He had lost it, wasn't able to get it replaced. So I had him meet with our disabled veteran representative. We were able to get his DD-214 mailed to our office because he did not have a home address. We found some place that would help him get his driver's license. He got that. He is fully employed now and couldn't be happier.
Yeah, I love that story because it really speaks to the amount of effort that
Yes.
the people at the IowaWorks offices will put forward to help folks. Oftentimes complete strangers who come in and they're out there helping people
Yes.
find that employment and get those jobs and careers that really make a huge difference in their
Oh,
lives.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, if whatever barrier you think is going to be a difficult barrier, bring it to us. Bring it to us because we will help you get it figured out how it can no longer be a barrier.
That's exactly the other thing I think that great example speaks to is somebody, sitting at home knowing or thinking they want to do this, but being like, you know what, my barriers are just too big, or this is,
Right.
they're going to be like, what in the world? And so the message is no, we're not, and give it a shot. So.
No. And we have had some cases that have been pretty extreme, but what we do is instead of giving up, we put a team together to work with this individual in different levels of where they need help. And so that team will sit and talk to one another about this individual and come up with a game plan and move forward working with that person.
Yeah, and I know that employers are on the other side, obviously, of the hiring process, and I feel like something that they can be comfortable with if they hire someone who's come through the IowaWorks offices is that these people are really putting time and effort into getting hired, and those are good employees to have.
They are. They really are. We have a business team, so if an employer is looking for employees, whether it be 1 or 15, contact our office. Our business team will work with you and come up with a game plan and show you how to go into IowaWorks to look individuals up that meet the criteria you're looking for. And it's free for employers as well, not just future employees, but for employers.
That's right. We want to hear from both, people seeking work, the job seekers, those looking for new or different jobs as well. And we also want to hear from the employers because that's how the system works, is we've got people and employers need jobs, so let's put you together.
Absolutely. And with employers, if you ever run into a problem, we're there to help them as well. It's not just the job seekers. We're trying to match you with these job seekers and job seekers with the employers. So come and talk to us. Let us see how we can work together to match these individuals up.
Yeah. All right, Jennifer. Well, I think we are starting to run up on our time for this podcast, but that was just a lot of great information. And I think if I was a job seeker listening to that and had some worries about a barrier or anything like that, I know after listening to this, I'd feel a lot more confident about coming into IowaWorks and giving it a shot, because I really think that this is one of the best things that we do here at Iowa
Yeah, I
Workforce
agree.
Development.
I agree.
And one of the other things that I just want to mention before we wrap up here too is when you were talking about the words and the things like that to get your resume looked at or to get your application looked at, let's utilize this resource. Get the biggest bang for your buck. You're putting work in to get your resume done. Make sure you've done everything you can to get it seen by that employer, and the folks at Iowa Works like Jennifer can help you.
Yeah, we will guide you until you are starting that job.
And I bet that that's one of the best feelings in the world when you see someone come in who just landed something.
It's amazing when they come in and tell us everybody celebrates with them.
Awesome. All right. Thanks so much, Jennifer, for stopping by.
Thank you for having me. I
Thanks,
appreciate the time.
Jennifer.